Because all the competition comes from inside us, you know, the competition with ourselves, and to try and get better and want to get better, it comes from inside.
Sade. Finally available, the Sade Diamond Life video.
Yeah, well, for me, it's essential that I live my life and I keep in touch with my roots and my people, my friends, and I can't just sort of split myself in that way. I am really a country girl who, when I was 17, I went to the big city in London and I spent half of my life there in London. If I tell you now.
Sade, darling.
Almost homeless, Sade's struggle was real. When Sade first hit the scene with Pride, she wasn't even the lead singer. She stepped up only because the original singer bailed. Talk about pressure. But once she did, she owned it, even if the industry tried to mold her into their puppet. Industry suits wanted her to change, to work with big-name producers, and basically sell out. But Sade wasn't about to let anyone dictate her sound. She wanted to keep it real, authentic, and hers. That's why she turned down big offers that could have compromised her vision. Big risk, but it paid off, eventually. And don't get me started on her personal life. Living in a squatted fire station with her boyfriend Robert Elms, dealing with no heat and a toilet on the fire escape. That's some hardcore struggle right there. No need to say that this relationship didn't last long. Meanwhile, the media was all over her, making up stories and creating rumors. She was under a microscope, and it was relentless. Later on, she got married to a Spanish film director and moved away to Madrid. She's got those timeless jams and a vibe that's unmatched, but why does she keep disappearing from the spotlight? What's really going on with her? Sade's been in the game for nearly 4 decades, sold over 50 million records worldwide, and only dropped 6 studio albums. The last one was back in 2010. So what's the deal? Is there something happening behind the scenes that we don't know about? Why did she step away just when things were heating up? Was it the pressures of fame, personal battles, or something even deeper? In this video, we're going to break it all down, from her struggles with the industry and personal life to her journey of rediscovery and motherhood. We'll look at her early days, her unexpected transition from fashion to music, and how she became a global icon. Let's get into it. So let's talk about when Sade's world really got flipped.
I wouldn't wanna see you fall, rock climb for you.
After the roller coaster of her early career and personal struggles, she thought she found stability with Spanish film director Carlos Pliego. But nah, life had other plans. Their marriage started with all the bells and whistles, but it quickly turned into a storm. Sade packed her bags and left Madrid faster than you can say smooth operator. She took off with just a small bag, leaving behind what was supposed to be a new chapter.
Diamond light.
She described the whole ordeal as a very sad situation. Can you imagine? 1 minute, you're trying to make it work in a foreign country, and the next, you're on the move again, heartbroken and starting over. But it wasn't just about the marriage. The industry was relentless. The pressure was insane, and the media, they were hounding her. It was enough to make anyone want to disappear. So she did just that. She moved back to the UK, back to her roots, and tried to piece her life together. Sade didn't just find a new home. She found herself. She settled into a home in North London. But life threw her another curveball when the foundation of her house started crumbling. She was forced out for 18 months while it was under construction. Just when you think things can't get worse, right? But Sade, being the resilient queen she is, took it in stride. During this time, she stayed out of the spotlight, avoiding the media circus. No more music, no more tours, just Sade, rebuilding her life brick by brick. This hiatus wasn't just a break, it was a reset button.
Well, you know who you are, remember who you are, and then you can carry on a reasonably normal life.
She was reclaiming her sanity and independence, far away from the prying eyes of the public. But she wasn't alone. She found solace in a new relationship with Jamaican music producer Bob Morgan. They had a daughter, and for a while, life seemed to calm down. But as always, Sade was in control of her narrative. She moved to Jamaica, trying to connect with Bob's roots and give her daughter a sense of heritage. This split and relocation phase was crucial. It was a time of healing, reflection, and rediscovery. Sade was stepping back to step forward, and in the process, she was crafting the next chapter of her life on her own terms. Next, we'll explore how motherhood and these life changes led to a deeper rediscovery of herself.
I am really a country girl who, when I was 17, I went to the big city in London and I spent half of my life there in London.
Becoming a mother was a game changer for Sade. It was a new beginning, a fresh start that allowed her to rediscover herself outside of the music industry's pressure. Motherhood transformed her. She wasn't just Sade, the global music icon. She was now Sade, the mom. This role allowed her to find a new kind of strength and purpose. She relocated to Jamaica, immersing herself in Bob's culture and heritage, providing a rich, diverse environment for their daughter to grow up in. This period was all about family, grounding herself, and finding joy in the simple things. But as always, life had its ups and downs. In 1998, Sade faced legal trouble in Jamaica. She was accused of reckless driving and skipping court dates, which she later claimed were blown out of proportion. Despite this hiccup, she maintained her focus on family and personal growth. Living in Jamaica gave Sade the space she needed to breathe. Away from the relentless spotlight, she could focus on what truly mattered. This wasn't just a break from music, it was a rebirth. She spent time connecting with her daughter, exploring new creative outlets, and just living life away from the chaos of fame. However, the music never truly left her. Even during her time off, Sade was always writing, always creating.
If I tell you now.
It was just that the timing had to be right, and her heart had to be in it. She wasn't about to rush back into the industry until she was ready. This period of rediscovery and motherhood was essential for Sade. It allowed her to come back stronger, more centered, and more in tune with herself than ever before. And when she did return, the world was ready to embrace her all over again. Next up, we'll talk about the magical returns to the music scene. By the time 2000 rolled around, she was ready to bless us with Lover's Rock. This album was like a breath of fresh air, a soulful reminder of why we fell in love with her in the first place. It earned her a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album.
Sade, darling.
But then, poof, she disappeared again. What's up with that? Sade wasn't hiding, though. She was living her life, raising her daughter, and dealing with her own stuff. She told the media that making music wasn't something she could do on command. She needed to feel it to be in the right headspace. This is a woman who's always put authenticity over everything else. If her heart wasn't in it, she wasn't going to fake it. Fast forward to 2010, and boom, she hits us with Soldier of Love. This album was fire. It shot straight to #1 on the Billboard 200, proving that Sade still had it.
Every day of mine.
The title track won a Grammy, and she went on a world tour, but it was clear that the spotlight was never her main goal. She wanted to share her art on her own terms. And then, like a true queen, she stepped back into the shadows. In 2018, she gave us Flower of the Universe for the A Wrinkle in Time soundtrack and The Big Unknown for the movie Widows.
Who's gonna walk away?
These tracks were a reminder that Sade's still got that magic touch. But again, she didn't stick around for the fame. She dropped her gems and retreated to her peaceful life. Why does she keep disappearing, you ask? Because Sade values her peace and sanity over everything else.
It's a long time. Yeah, but I'm living in my own little time warp, you know. I have my own little time scale. I can't adjust. Yeah, well, for me, it's essential that I live my life and I keep in touch with my roots and my people, my friends, and I can't just sort of split myself in that way.
She's not about the industry's pressure. She creates when she's ready, when it feels right. That's what makes her music so timeless. She's not just making songs, she's crafting experiences, moments that resonate deeply with her fans. So, while we might wish for more frequent releases, Sade's way of doing things keeps her music pure, untainted by the commercial grind. She comes back when the time is right, and when she does, it's always worth the wait. Let's roll back the clock and dig into Sade's early days. Born Helen Folasade Adu on January 16, 1959, in Ibadan, Nigeria, Sade's roots are as rich and diverse as her music. Her Nigerian father was an economics professor, and her English mother was a nurse. Talk about a blend of brains and care. When Sade was just a wee girl, her parents split up. Her mom took her and her brother back to England, settling in a little town called Holland-on-Sea. Picture this, a young Sade trying to find her footing between two very different cultures. She didn't dream of singing back then. Nah, her heart was set on fashion and literature.
Your love is king.
Imagine Sade as a designer or a writer. Crazy, right? But life had other plans. At 17, Sade moved to London to study fashion at St. Martin's School of Art. She wasn't just about those books, though. She got hands-on, designing and selling her own line of men's clothes. Hustling hard at Camden Market, she was getting her grind on, making a name for herself in the fashion scene. One day, fate knocked on her door. An old friend needed a backup singer for his band, Pride. Sade wasn't too keen, but she agreed to give it a shot. Little did she know, this was the start of something massive. At first, she was just filling in, but her voice, smooth, sultry, and oh so captivating, quickly made her the star of the show. Pride was no ordinary garage band. They had a vibe, a presence that was turning heads. But Sade, she was the secret weapon. Her stage presence was magnetic. Before long, it was clear she was destined for bigger things. Pride's guitarist, Stuart Matthewman, and a few other members saw the potential. They broke off from Pride and formed their own band, keeping things simple and naming it after their star, Sade. With Stuart on sax, Paul Denman on bass, and Andrew Hale on keys, they had the core of something special. In 1983, they signed with Epic Records, and the rest, as they say, is history. Their debut album, Diamond Life, dropped in 1984 and blew up the charts.
Sade.
No need to ask, he's a smooth operator.
Finally available, the Sade Diamond Life video.
Tracks like Smooth Operator and Your Love is King weren't just songs. They were anthems, setting the stage for a legendary career. From a small-town girl with dreams of fashion to a global music icon, Sade's early life was a roller coaster of experiences that shaped her into the enigmatic artist we adore today.
Because all the competition comes from inside us, you know, the competition with ourselves, and to try and get better and want to get better, it comes from inside, so it isn't a pressure from outside, really.
Now let's catch up with the Queen. She's living her best life these days. Sade's chilling in a rustic cottage in rural England with her man, Ian Watts. Now, Ian's no ordinary dude. He's a former Royal Marine and fireman turned scientist. Yep, she found herself an educated thug. They've carved out a peaceful life together, far from the prying eyes of the public and the pressure of the spotlight. Sade's legacy? It's untouchable. Even though she drops off the radar for years at a time, her music stays on repeat. She sold over 50 million records worldwide, but it's not just the numbers, it's the vibe she brings. Her influence? Massive. Artists from Alicia Keys to Drake have shouted her out as a major influence. Sade's music broke boundaries, mixing genres in ways that paved the road for many of today's top artists. Her style is a masterclass in staying real and evolving with grace. And then there's her son, Isaac. In 2016, Isaac came out as transgender, and Sade was right there by his side, showing nothing but love and support. Isaac's journey was another chapter in Sade's story of strength and compassion. It's clear that being a mom is as big a part of her life as her music, if not bigger. Sade's story is one of elegance, resilience, and timeless beauty. She's an artist who's always stayed true to herself, never bending to industry pressure. Her music continues to touch souls around the world, proving that true artistry never fades. So yeah, she might be living the quiet life now, but her legacy, that's forever. If you're as hyped about Sade's journey and her timeless music as we are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our crew to stay in the loop with the latest deep dives into the lives of your favorite celebs. Got thoughts on Sade or any other artist you want us to cover? Drop them in the comments below. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep vibing to the music that moves you. Peace.
You're looking so